Junior. First thing, shoes are important. No scuffs, perfect polish. And when you walk, walk like a man with answers, because whether or not you have them, that's who you have to be.
Zeke, can you make sure that my husband stays out of trouble tonight?
Don't I always?
Do you know who I am?
I know you're in charge.
Of every unholy thing that sets foot in this city.
Queenie, the woman they call the Southside Butcher.
When I hear somebody trying to sell me on a better life, I gotta ask myself, what is so bad about the life they got?
If I wanted to get the Porters into a union, what's the first thing I should do?
Always go for the head.
That's where the vision is.
You think I need a partner?
I think you need a man that knows every vein in them trains.
I know y'all might be scared of what might happen if we do this, but maybe it's time we start thinking about what happens if we don't.
What I offer these boys is not one day, maybe. It is in their hands right now. But this union shit you talking, now that's danger. Sure you don't want to work with me?
Sure you don't want to join the movement?
I'm good. I gotta spend the rest of my life bowing and smiling. People rather spit in my face than killing me would be a kindness.
Know when to be a bull-headed Negro motherfucker, and when not to be.
I'm a poeta papsi, the most invisible man on the earth.
Good evening, everyone. I can hear your applause for that trailer from where I am here. My name is Angela Cassie. I'm a volunteer with the Black History Manitoba Celebration Committee, and I'm your host for this evening. This is what happens when you miss a meeting. You get voluntold. Just kidding. I'm thrilled to be here with all of you today. And by day, I'm the Vice President of the National Gallery of Canada, leading its transformation and inclusion activities. But today I'm here most of all because I'm a proud Winnipegger, proud of the talent that we have here, and proud of the stories that we have to share with the world. And I'm also looking forward to celebrating this new series. Welcome to the exclusive viewing party for The Porter. As we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that I'm joining you here tonight from Treaty 1 territory, the homeland of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. I hope that you're joining us from here in Manitoba and across the country. There is a chat in the function, so if you'd like to share where you're joining us from or acknowledge the territories on which you're joining us from and viewing tonight, we'd love to hear from you. On behalf of CBC Manitoba and Black History Month Manitoba, we'd like to welcome you to this exclusive behind-the-scenes screening party. Of course, we would have loved to have done it in person, but I hope you're there with people that you love, and I can hear you hooting and hollering and clapping. Let's feel that energy. This has been really long time coming, and many of you might not know that one of the reasons we're so excited about this is because it was shot this past summer right here in Winnipeg. So I'm going to share a little bit about what The Porter is. It's a new CBC original series that is inspired by the real events and set in the early 1920s. It focuses on an unfortunately little known history of how Black train porters and their community in Canada worked on both sides of the border to form the first Black labor union in North America. This is a fictionalized drama that allows train porters Junior and Zeke, nurse Marlene, and performer Lucy, and it follows them as a tragedy in the community sets them on starkly different paths to what they hoped was a better life, and of course on a direct collision course with each other. We're thrilled to have some of the cast and creators, most of whom tonight are fellow Manitobans. And by the way, apparently either Black History Manitoba or CBC Manitoba has the power to confer me with the responsibility that all of our friends from Toronto who spent the summer here are now honorary citizens. So please show up with your shovels tomorrow morning. Thank you very much. But we're always proud to welcome more people to our city and our province, and thrilled that so many people got to discover Winnipeg this summer. And a few of the people we're going to meet today include Arnold Pinnock, who's the creator, originator, executive producer, and who also plays the character Glenford. Marcia Green is going to be joining us, showrunner, creator, executive producer of The Porter. Eugene Baffo, who plays the character Tuffy. Adrian McLean, who plays the character of Clarence. And you're going to need to remember this name, write it down, remember the day when you met him if you haven't already met him, Jerron Wilson, who plays the character of Teddy Macy. And you will not be disappointed in meeting these incredibly talented people these evenings. So we will be chatting with them a little bit later on in the live stream. But before we get moving to that, I'd just like to share a few housekeeping details with all of you. So if you have questions about viewing the stream, we do have a virtual concierge who can assist you through the entire program. So send your questions to communications.winnipeg@cbc.ca. We'd love to also hear from you, not just if you're having problems, but if you have questions or you have comments, there is also a comment section below. We will have a live Q&A period with the cast of The Porter tonight. So if you have that burning question that you'd like to ask, please type it in the chat and I'll make sure that we get to as many questions as possible. We don't want you to leave this live stream regretting not asking that question, so please don't be shy, and the more questions, the merrier. Now, before we get to the main event, CBC is giving away 5 Porter-inspired macaron boxes from Gâteau Bakery, which is a Black-owned business right here in Manitoba. To the first 5 people who are going to fill out the form that is attached to the QR code, and it is going to come on your screen right now. Who knew the QR code would be making such a huge comeback in the last 2 years? So here's what you need to do to win a macaron box. Get out your smartphone right now. Click on your camera icon. Point your phone to the QR code that you see on the screen right now, and you'll be directed to the online form to fill out. These macarons have been made with love by pastry chef Laura Gourboux. They are delicious, so don't sleep on this contest, okay? And good luck. I got to go and pick up my macaron already from Gâteau over here, but I was told I was not allowed to eat them during the live stream. So just giving you that extra second to get that picture taken and enter the contest now. Good luck to all of you. So now on with the show. We're going to start with another incredible local talent. Alexa Joy is a researcher, journalist, and graduate student at the New School for Public Research. She's also a co-founder of the successful Afro Prairie Film Festival and has been working with CBC Manitoba since 2020 on her multi-platform series, Uncensored. This past summer, Alexa caught up with the cast and crew of The Porter and captured some incredible moments with them, which will be featured in Season 2 of Uncensored, which airs on CBC Radio 1, 89.3 FM. But first, let's take a look at a clip.
So Arnold, we're in the bougie private car here. This is bougie. Like, I feel a certain way being in here right now.
Yes, it's very stush.
Yeah, stush for sure. Like, I don't want to leave. So walk us through, what is this place?
Well, you called it, it's a private car.
Yeah.
This is the private car of Edwards.
Oh.
One of our characters. And a private car like this, so, you know, if you were rich enough or you were in politics or maybe a musician or someone like that.
Someone with money.
Someone with money. You could have your own
Yeah.
private car with your own porter. So the best of the best, best draperies,
Yes.
you know, you've got a little office here,
Ooh.
you know, a little library and so on. You've got your table on wheels, which can roll around.
Oh my goodness.
You know, and right here, you have your own little gramophone.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that
What did
dope?
you call it?
Well, you call
It's not a record player?
a record player.
I'm a millennial, so I apologize.
It's
So
a gramophone.
It looks like a record.
Well, it is. It isn't a record.
Okay.
Don't ask me if it's a 33 or a 22 or
Okay.
definitely a 45, but it's kind of dope, eh?
Wow, it's beautiful. So we're in, what do you call this? The bougie sleeper?
The This is the private car sleeper.
Okay.
Yeah. So this would be the top berth right here.
Yeah.
And then this would be the lower berth, and then also right here.
Wow.
And then they would have their own sort of private bathroom in there.
Wow.
And even the luggage like this, you know, our arts department and our sets and props. So this was aged, you know.
This is all authentic to the time.
Yeah,
Okay.
just the way that they broke it down and stuff and de-stressed it. It was just pretty unbelievable.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Jeez. I mean, the detail, like you really feel like you're traveling back in time when you get into
It's
it.
unbelievable. I mean,
It
just
is.
look at this.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And all the hours that were put in to make this look the way it does. It's just like they've given us like a playground to play in. That's just unbelievable.
Are they going to destroy this once the...
What, destroy? Don't use that word
Well,
regarding
or
our
get
stuff.
rid of it, or how does it work after production? I hope they keep it. I hope they keep it.
I hope we don't talk about destroying anything. I hope, you know, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be fortunate to have season after season and we won't have to use those words destroy.
That was classic. I was just like, I hope they do not get rid of this.
No. But you know, the one common theme I think is in here is oak. Oak, oak, oak. All the veneer. This is oak. This is oak right here.
Wow.
And stuff like that. It was really cool coming in here and seeing them put it together. I mean, after we'd finish a meeting, something like that, I would love to come in here and finish off my days just by watching them put stuff together. It was really cool.
Sure. Well, this is beautiful, Arnold. Thank you again for showing us the bougie side
Yeah, well, no problem.
of the Porter. This
No
is
problem.
great.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
What a great clip and what a wonderful experience. And I'm curious to learn a little bit more about where is that car now. I just want to remind you that this is going to be part of Uncensored, which is the behind the scenes of the Porter. It's going to be airing this week and next, all on CBC Manitoba platforms, including cbc.ca/Manitoba and CBC Winnipeg News at 6 next Monday and Tuesday evenings. So make sure you set your PVRs. Love Alexa, you know, the gramophone or a record player. That was one of those moments too that just gives you that sense of that sliding doors history moments that we have when we step back into those places that are so authentic. So really fantastic. So as I mentioned earlier, we'll be sharing a few more sneak peeks of the Porter throughout the evening. And I just want to stress that we ask you to use your discretion while watching with others at home. The Porter is intended for audiences aged 14 and up and contains mature subject matter, sexuality, coarse language, and violence. So, going back to the story, as I said earlier, set in the early 1920s and inspired by real events, the Porter follows trained porters Junior Massey and Zeke Garrett and their friends and family as a tragedy on the job sets them on starkly different paths to a better light. While Junior takes advantage of the system to pursue money and power in gambling and bootlegging, Zeke fights the railway to change the system from within by unionizing the Black Porters. As it becomes clear that Junior and Zeke's goals are in direct conflict with each other, their once unbreakable bond is stretched to its limits. You see, they were veterans, and that friendship forged in the trenches of war. Will it survive this friendship in this new fight for freedom, or will they have to betray each other and their community to make their dreams a reality? We won't give you any spoilers on where that ends. I, for one, can't wait to watch. But first, it is my great pleasure to introduce Arnold Pinnock, creator, originator, executive producer of The Porter, who also plays the character Glenford. Arnold is a UK-born Canadian actor whose career began at Toronto's Second City main stage. His work in film and television has spanned almost 3 decades. And it's also my great pleasure to introduce Marcia Green, showrunner, creator, executive producer of The Porter. Marcia Green is a writer and executive producer best known for her work on the critically acclaimed drama Mary Kills People. That one scares me, for which she earned 3 CSA nominations in Best Writing Drama Series. So you can't feel it, but we're sending you a really warm Winnipeg welcome. I hope, Arnold and Marcia, you can feel the energy coming your way.
Definitely. Thanks for having us. We're excited to be Manitobans now.
Yeah, there you go.
Kind of cool, eh, Marcia?
Yeah.
You have to come and shovel, though.
That's right.
I
mean, I don't know. There's a storm in Toronto. I don't know if we'll make it out of Toronto.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really excited to be speaking with both of you this evening. But first, we're going to watch The Porter. And this is the first scene from the first episode. And here we're going to see Zeke, Junior, and Marlene at the Stardust Club. Let's roll the clip.
I'm so excited.
These sons of bitches act like they got a right to the little we got.
I should get going. I'm late for my revival meeting as it is, and Gwen is gonna have a fit.
You sure you don't want to stay with us? Or with me?
Zeke, can you make sure that my husband stays out of trouble tonight?
Don't always.
Courtesy of Popsy with apologies.
Thank you, darling.
You want to dance with me?
Wow. I want to just keep on watching. How does it feel for both of you now seeing this as a finished production? Marcia, do you want to start?
Sure. It's still very surreal in many ways that we've finally gotten to this point that it's going to air nationwide on Monday. We feel proud, honored, humbled, excited, terrified, all of the all of the normal things. This really has been, a passion project for all of us. And so we just hope people love it as much as we do.
Thank you. And Arnold, we open this scene with the characters kind of having these discussions. Can you just open up a little bit of the storyline and maybe share why you felt it was important to tell this story?
I've said this so many ways, but today I just kind of feel like saying, well, why not? Why not tell this story? There's many stories across this great country that are told again and again and again. And I think that the same desire to want to tell the story is the same desire that, Marcia and the rest of the creative team feel, in the sense of it was time to tell these stories. And if not now, then when?
No, if not now, then when? And I think I heard in the clip with Alexa, we were talking also about, is this season 1? Could we do multiple of these series? Are we putting that out in the universe?
Yes. Speak it into existence, Angela.
Yeah, well, I think it has
we definitely could do more.
Well, we're going to unpack all of those things. But one thing I wanted to hit on to start off with is that incredible music. I think for me, I love music. It brings me in. And, you know, throughout the series, both at the Stardust and in a church, the music really seems to kind of inform the story and bring it to life. And I understand that audiences are going to hear, you know, traditional jazz pieces, original songs, influences of kind of African, Caribbean, jazz, blues genres. You know, tell us about this tapestry of music that you were able to put together, and how did it come about?
Well, when we started, you know, actually before we even started the show, before we even were like, we're making it, I remember Arnold made a playlist on Spotify called The Porter, and we would put all of these songs in that. And in fact, a song that I put in did end up in one of the episodes, and an episode that I happened to write. So that was very exciting for me. But once we were in production and kind of talking about music and what we wanted it to be, we thought about, you know, the music, the traditional music of the time. And we definitely wanted to start there. But we also felt like, you know, we didn't want it to be like the Gatsby 20s sound. We're like, you know, we have our own sound. And so we started in these other influences. And then as we got to the post-production, to the editing process, we found moments where, you know, we could put in a totally modern song. And so as a result, we have a very, I think, rich tapestry, if that's what you said, of different music from Montreal, music of the time, just music from all over the world. And I don't know, I think maybe the common thread is it just all feels like something that has come from our culture, and we just try and pick the right thing for the moment. In the scenes, you usually hear music that is mostly of the time, though.
Well, that's fantastic. And I want to keep this moving and dive into a next clip. The Porter is set in 1921 in Saint Antoine, Montreal. And in the next gorgeous scene, we'll see the Porters walking through Saint Antoine as they make their way to work. So cueing the next clip. Yeah. Who was moving there? I want to see it in the chat. Who was moving there? That, I mean, the way they walk through the streets in those uniforms and that swagger that they were carrying with these, what a clip. And I mean, you see the city that was so dynamic and vibrant, and all these things playing against each other. You know, Winnipeg, of course, is the double for Saint Antoine here. So could you talk to me a little bit about why Winnipeg was the right place to shoot The Porter? Arnold?
Well, we were really blessed to be able to shoot in Winnipeg. Of course, it came down to financials, and we were very fortunate to be able to work with Ian Dimmerman, which really helped us out in the sense of getting tax credits. And Ian really wanted this show to be brought to Winnipeg, and really thought it was a great opportunity for Winnipeg to be showcased and to have its time in the sun. And also, you know, Marcia and I always talk about this, is that then all of a sudden a light bulb moment clicked in our heads, and we're like, wait a minute, the birthplace of the union, Order of Sleeping Car Porters, is right here in Winnipeg. And then we just thought, what a blessing, you know, I'm going to say, you know, God putting his hand on us and guiding us to Winnipeg. And also, I think, you know, even though this is a show about Saint Antoine, Montreal, I truly believe there's a Saint Antoine all across this country, you know, be it Nova Scotia or, of course, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, you know,
Calgary, Edmonton, BC, because there were these Black communities that were all throughout this country that were dealing with the same sort of strife.
Yeah, and when you're trying to balance the fictional aspect of it, but then using the representation of these communities and making sure that the show remained as accurate as possible, can you talk to us a little bit about that balance that you tried to strike?
It was a tricky balance, actually. I think what was attractive to us about making a fictionalized version was that it allowed us actually to tell kind of more history. We would hear these incredible stories from all these different times, and we were like, we don't want to just do this one piece of it, and I think freeing ourselves to be able to pull in all of these different moments actually makes the show richer. And we hope, like as you said, there are so many different spinoffs of this show that could happen. People could take, the UNIA story and go somewhere. They could take the war story and go somewhere. So we felt like by presenting all of these different moments in history together, we starting point to do their own historical research. And but then, just some of the fun of doing a period piece is in all the little details, is in the gramophone that you have to like crank up to get the record to spin. That's the difference. And and like all the little finishings, like our incredible production design team and props and sets and costumes. I mean, you'll see beautiful wardrobe, just everybody really pulled together to kind of bring those details, because I think that is the fun of doing a period piece.
Oh, fantastic. And we're going to check out another clip. And here you'll see Junior and Zeke's individual reactions to the death of a fellow porter at work. So this is going to be a stronger moment here. So let's go for it.
Come on. Dance with me.
What's going on?
Henry is dead, and the railroad sent his family a bill for the uniform. Fucking uniform.
There ain't nothing I can do, or nothing I can say that folks don't criticize me. But I'm going to do just as I want to anyway, and don't care if they all despise me. If I should take a notion to jump into the ocean.
Oh, that is a powerful moment. And, we started with the music, we started with the pride and the swagger. But at the heart of this history and at the heart of the story is the racism that's experienced, the poor working conditions. As you said, Marcia, this isn't perhaps the definitive history, but it's an important starting point to dive into the story. So were there aspects of the story that you uncovered yourself in the research that you weren't, aware of? I, for one, wasn't taught this history in school. I learned it later in life. I know a lot of our viewers here in Manitoba have personal family connections. But were there elements that surprised you as you dug into this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, none of us really knew. I mean, it starts with Arnold, and he learned about this history. And then as he brought this project to every one of us on the creative team, it was, I think, perhaps not Anne-Marie, who's my co-showrunner. I think she had done maybe she had done a documentary right before and had learned a little something about the Porters, but most of us really did not know by any means all of this history. We didn't learn it. And that just seems like such a tragedy because, you know, what you said, I think for us at the heart of this story is actually the ambition and the resistance and the resilience of these people. And so, yes, they are experiencing racism, and yes, tragedy is happening, but really what you see are people who, you know, they take that low moment and they're like, what am I going to do? How am I going to pivot? What am I going to do next? And that's what we've always done. And so to be able to take all of these different moments in history and show all of the ways in which, you know, Black Canadians and Americans and people from the Caribbean came together to change their circumstances, to change policy in some cases, is just, it's an incredible history that we were fortunate to learn and are fortunate to share.
I'd like to double down with what Marcia said. You know, this really is about the triumphs and about the ambitions that they had. I mean, you know, just like music, there's always downbeats, but we made a conscious effort to look for the upbeats. And also going on with Marcia says, that's in us. That is in us. So the show definitely is about those triumphs. You know, definitely with the reality of the hardships of growing up at that time and living in that society, but definitely about the upbeats of
yeah. Well, and I think that's part of having you as these showrunners. You're presenting these layered, complex, kind of highs and lows, and I mean that's the reality of who we are and how we move in these spaces, and I think it just makes for such a rich story to tell. And in the first run of the series, I think in the Winnipeg one that'll come after, you know, we'll be able to unpack a bunch of other stories as well. So by episode 2, we're gonna check out another Clint here. Junior finds himself in a little bit of trouble. He's in debt with the notorious Chicago gangster, Miss Queenie. And we'll see their first reaction next.
When a man gets the better of you, huh? That's that Neanderthal brain taking over. Hey! Either help me or shut the fuck up!
Porter, man, you and your booze-breaking hustle's been nothing but a bother to me.
You see when you fish in my water, Mr. Massey. That's money out of my pocket. Now it's time to pay up.
Oh, I would not want to cross Miss Queenie.
Nobody does.
Nobody does.
Or Olenike, for that matter.
I was going to say life imitating art. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it feels like she lived in that character, like that the force and the power that she walked through the room with, and this scene, of course, is inspired, and that storyline is inspired by some of the real life cross border bootlegging operations that sprung up all across the Canada-U.S. border during the Prohibition era in the States. So, we talked about this a little bit before. This is inspired by history, and kind of wove in some of these timelines and locations when it comes to many of the historical events. um, we talked a little bit about the freedom that this gave you, but I'm also hearing that it's a starting point, and you wanted this to be a springboard for other storytellers to pick up this work. And we're going to talk a little bit more. We've got a few more clips, so I want to get back to the Stardust, and another rivalry and another strong female character in this show. So next, we're going to set the scene for this rivalry between Lucy and her fellow dancer, Corinne.
Here is King of the Crescent City, Willie Johnson.
Oh, it is going to get serious between those two, I have a feeling.
Spicy.
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 And I have to say, I've seen it in the comments. I feel like at a certain point, I'm going to have to watch each episode 3 or 4 times, because first, I'm watching it. Second, I'm trying to spot all the Winnipeggers and Manitobans. We have such talented players, musicians, dancers featured. Can you tell us about, what you discovered here in terms of this talent?
Arnold, do you want to take
Arnold, do you
that?
want to take that?
I mean, what didn't we discover? Let's first talk about the crew. We had unbelievable crew, be it in the wardrobe or be it in makeup or hair, or the set people, the camera crew, and then of course as we make our way to the talent in front of the camera. I mean, it was absolutely fantastic. The Eugenes, the Bubbas, and so on. The Otis, stuff. But for me, I had a huge fondness for all of the background performers. They became my family away from home. I just love spending time with them. I love sharing the story about the porters and the neighborhood and the family and the women and the Black Cross nurses and so on, and really try to instill or inspire in them that these are not just stories, but these are stories about people who look just like you, and that we're from this town and this community. And they were just amazing. I mean, some of those scenes, Marsha, when we were in like the nightclub or the church, and the community would just, I mean, the background performers would just start like giving us the energy. And something really special happened. Something really special happened in Winnipeg.
No, thank you. And thank you. You know, it is true. The crew, the people creating those phenomenal costumes, they're absolutely spectacular. Everything is just jumping off the screen. Were there challenges? And I don't know if it made it, you know, we're going to say the P word once, pandemic. You know, did it make it a little more challenging to source costumes and fabrics? You know, how did that environment have an impact on the production?
I mean,
or we just don't want to talk about it anymore.
No. I mean, well, first of all, if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about our COVID crew, who were just absolutely incredible. Like, as you will see, we had a lot of people. We had a lot of people coming from all over the place. We had a lot of background people coming in every day, in and out. So they did such an incredible job of like testing and masking and distancing and keeping us safe. So just like shout out to all of them. Yeah, it was difficult to get costumes, to get things shipped. You know, everything, of course, is a little bit more challenging during the pandemic, but I think just in general to source some of those costumes and those props, and you know, of course, departments, they wanted all of those little details. They wanted that, you know, that exact. I think what was, we see it in the clip, the guy who was in the wheelchair selling the newspapers.
Oh, yes.
That's Aaron's favorite prop, I believe. And yeah, like, so people just had, you know, they obviously take such pride in their work, as they should, and you know, wanted to get everything, and it was challenging. But you know, like everybody on this show, they moved mountains for us to make it happen and to kind of create the beautiful, you know, set pieces and props and wardrobes you'll see in the show.
No, well, thank you for that, and I know that there's a lot of pride from all the talent, and you know, what we're talking about is not just the talent on the screen, but it's all those people that made that movie magic happen behind the scenes, right, as they call it. So we have another clip that I want to make sure that we have a chance to share here, and it's the last scene
we won't need
tonight.
No one will need to watch the show anymore with all these clips.
Well, no, we're gonna need to watch, because I need to know what happens with Lucy and Corinne. Like,
yes,
you know, like, to me, there's something that's gonna go down there. So we
right,
will
Angela,
watch.
you don't know the half of it.
Okay, see this,
Monday.
much like this sweet treat, right? It's just the start. It's just the start.
And then there's the space travel. Don't forget the space travel. Don't forget that.
We said no spoilers. We said no spoilers. So the last scene we'll view for tonight is a conversation between Marlene, Gwen, and Faye at the brothel.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Can I interest you in donating to the United Negro Improvement Association?
Marlene. Marlene. We need to get out of here. None of these folks are going to donate to anything besides their own vices.
I am not going to give Eli the satisfaction of knowing his punishment worked. When this is full, I'll leave.
Shit! Is it Sunday already? Who let these preachers in?
Hi, my name is Marlene. I am with United Negro Improvement Association. Could I interest you in donating to uplift our lives and our community, Miss
It's Fayana. Faye. And my community ain't in Africa.
Horse got brains too. So when I hear somebody trying to sell me on a better life across the ocean or in glory, I gotta ask myself, what is so bad about the life they got? Hmm?
You all right?
Mais oui, Marlene. That'd be a lot better if it was so goddamn hot in here all the time, but I'm mighty fine.
There she is.
Oh, hold the horses! How is my Boston baby?
Oh, I'm good. Much better now.
Oh, the door is opening. The door is opening.
Yeah, it
Get
is.
your butt up there. Naughty, naughty. Okay, bye-bye, Marlene and
Gwendolyn.
Gwendolyn. Oh. See ya. I'm gonna kick your ass.
So you're just giving us more to want to learn about and explore. Here again, these strong, layered, complex female characters. I want to know what they're thinking. I want to know what they're saying to each other when they're walking out of that brothel. And you know, the character of Faye, you brought in the big guns there. Tell us what it was like, you know, casting some of these characters and writing for these strong female characters.
Well, you know, first of all, shout out to Arnold Pinnock for us to Alfrey, like not to her work. Obviously, we knew who she was, but kind of getting to know her through a mutual acquaintance and bringing her into the Porter world. You know, it all started with just having a Zoom call with her, with the creative team, where she just showed her support, and that alone was so incredible. And I truly, I was like, you know, maybe she'll tweet about the show one day. That was like as far as I imagined it could ever go. And then, you know, she was like, would consider a role. And then we were like desperately trying to write a role like worthy of Alfre Woodard. And she read the scripts and she was like, I want this one that we had already written. And so it was such an honor to have somebody like Alfre, who of course has done so much and, you know, does, and as she should, have her pick of offers, to see what we had written and see something in there that she wanted to play. And you know, we say about Faye that she truly is a character who has found a kind of freedom that everybody is chasing, and it's what makes the character so inspiring. But in Alfre Woodard's hands, it's just, you know.
Yeah, she had a way of taking those words and giving them a whole another life. So we're just about done with this segment. Arnold, I just wanted to also give you a chance to, you know, share, you know, rather about these characters or anything else about the clips that we shared.
I just think what's beautiful about this is sometimes when we see ourselves on the screen, or at least in period pieces, we come in and the character is serving some food, and there might be a little bit of chatter, and then they go back to the people eating, or the character may be a dancer, and then we see them dancing, and then we go back to the main story, and in this case, a porter, you know, doing his thing, and then they, you know, it goes back to the main story. And I love what we've done is we go home with these Black people. They are more than just entertainers and servers and stuff like that. They have pain, they have love, they have families, they, you know, they have food that they love to eat. And I think what Marcia and Anne-Marie did is make these characters three-dimensional. And you can see them in the little short clips that we give them. They pop off the screen. And for me, I think I mean, Eugene and those guys can tell you more, but I think as actors, we don't normally get to play characters like this in our own country. So when given this opportunity to perform at our highest, because the work demanded us to do that, I think every one of our actors, be it, you know, 1 to 5 or 1 to 102, brought their A game, no matter what nationality they were, you know, be it the white, Black, it doesn't matter. We've had some difficult scenes that were brought to the table. And let me tell you, man, us as a team, I always call ourselves like the Porter tribe. You're part of the Porter tribe. We would bond together to help everyone through difficult scenes. I'm talking about actors that would hug one another, before going in to do scenes that were extremely tough to do and to be a part of. And that's when you really know that everyone is passionately connected to one goal. And that is this show and getting across whatever it may be once people watch. And that's why I keep on saying something really special happened in Winnipeg.
Yeah, well, and thank you both for your vision, your tenacity, bringing these things together. It takes that kind of leadership to see these things through and to create that kind of environment. And you know, Winnipeg responds to that, and we respond to that love. We step up, and it's clear that everyone who was part of this production, you know, felt that opportunity and that responsibility. So thank you for those words. Thank you for spending this time.
And a shout out to KNS Island restaurants. Because we ate there quite a lot, and to Limbert Merriman, whose father and uncle were a porter, and met him there, and he grew up in Little Burgundy but lives in Winnipeg. So just a shout out to
Oh, and I hope they're here, and if they're not, we'll make sure that we knew that they know that there's this shout out. So thank you so much for that. And I just want to remind everyone that The Porter is going to premiere on Monday, February 21st at 9 p.m. Central on CBC Television and CBC Gem. So we've had a really juicy appetizer, so can't wait for the full course. Thank you so much. And now we're going to bring some other people into the conversation, some of the cast that I know you've all been waiting to hear from. So I'm going to move right into it here and introduce a few of them. First, we have Eugene Baffo. Jeannie is a freestyle hip-hop dancer, choreographer, educator, and filmmaker from Montreal, Quebec. As an actor, he's been on the big screen in feature films like Bravetown, Lovesick, One Winter Weekend, Sweet Autumn, Bird of Truth, Edgar, and Ruthless Souls. Jeannie plays Tuffy in The Porter. And then next, I'm going to call up Adrian McLean. Bubba is a Canadian actor, artist, mentor, inspirational speaker, and former radio personality. We've got more than triple threats. We have quadruple threats on the screen with us here today. Bubba plays Clarence in The Porter. And Jerron Wilson is a Canadian actor, most known for his role in Tales from the Hood 3 and Christmas Love Song. He began his career as a began his career as a background performer and participating in church plays. Jerron, who is Rhonda's son, our fearless leader of the Congress of Black Women and Black History Manitoba. But you know, today it's all about you and the work that you did as Ted Massey in The Porter. So can you all hear me? Give me a wave. Feeling the energy? Okay, there we go. There we go. So before I get to you fine folks, we're going to hear a special message for someone who couldn't be here today, and she plays the character of Corinne. She wished she could join us, but she's shooting another project, and isn't that what we want for all of the cast and crew? Already be working on the next project. But she sent her wishes by video. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Juliet Amara, and I'm coming to you from Atlanta. Sending you this little virtual message because I cannot be present for tonight's Manitoba premiere of The Porter. Luckily, I got a chance to see it last week, and I'm so excited for all of you guys who get to watch it tonight. All of my fellow Manitobans. I'm so excited for you, my Black community. Man, I'm so excited for you. If you don't know, I play Corinne on The Porter. Being on that set was an incredible experience. It was probably one of the most beautiful on-set experiences I've ever had. It was nice to be able to come home to be able to film that project and be a part of it in my city. And I think it's so great that Winnipeg is becoming a part of such a historical change, and that the film community is really growing in Winnipeg. It gave so many job opportunities to other Black performers, and I'm just so grateful for this project. So grateful for this project. Action Manitoba, Winnipeg Film Projects, they just open up the doors for the performers to continue to create beautiful, magnificent art in Winnipeg, but also in other places across Canada, in the States, in Atlanta. I'm so, so grateful for my film community, and I'm so, so grateful that you guys get to watch The Porter tonight. It is freaking magical, and I'm so stoked for you to see it. Have fun.
Oh, thank you, Julita Amara. Another name we need to make sure we remember. What talent there. So are we ready to take some questions? Yeah, you guys are still there with me? So I'm going to also encourage people. We have a comment section in the chat, so I'm going to start with a few questions, and then I'll throw them to all of you. So maybe I'll start with you, Jeannie. Eugene, could you talk to us a little bit about your experience on The Porter? Your volume's down a little bit. A little bit more. Maybe let's jump to Bubba.
Hello.
Or hello, how are you?
I'm tremendous with a capital T. How is everybody doing?
I hope you're feeling the love and the energy and the excitement. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with this?
Okay. Whew. Arnold knows I'm emotional. Marsha knows I'm emotional. I get all in it. I'm going to summarize it like this. It was the most captivating, most emotionally tumultuous experience of my little career. I've done, I look over my shoulder, I look back what I've done, and it means nothing. It means nothing compared to this. To the hoops that Arnold had me jumping through to help find my grounding, to help find my center, to help find the right character for me, to help me be able to be a part of this magic. From that moment on, it was like something I'd never gone on before. And to get on set, and I was greeted by, for the first time in my life, and I've been in a few productions, I've been in a few different things. The first time in my life when I look around and the person working on my hair, the person that's doing my makeup, the person that's dressing my clothes, like they were all people that looked like me or that came from backgrounds that were similar to me. That was like huge for me. And unfortunately, when I go into a lot of, I go into, to do hair and makeup, sometimes, unfortunately, the hair and makeup people, they're just like, it looks good. You know what I'm saying? Like they have no clue what to do or how to enhance or anything, right? So to walk in and be able to have conversations with people that understood what I wanted or what was needed for the character to come through, mind blowing. Then I get onto set, okay? And I'm like, okay, because you read like the script, it comes at you and it looks like this. Okay? This is like what a script looks like. And it's just like some words and some character names and stuff like that. But then when you get there and you actually see the smoke and the mist and the dust and the detail and the intricacies, and you're there and you feel the energy and your heart's going like this, you're like, oh boy, I better not mess this up. Woo! Right? Because you see all these people, like professionals, the directors, the showrunners. It's like these people, holy smokes, like they flew in to do this. They're here. They took their time. They dedicated, like Arnold dedicated like 10 years, 15 years of his life in pre-production and writing and talking and meetings. And I hate meetings. I hate talking to people, you know what I'm saying? And he did it. He went and he sat down with people. He got rejected. He kept going. He kept active. He kept ringing doorbells. He kept knocking. He kept shaking hands. He kept meeting with people so that we could be here.
Yes,
and
thank you, Bubba.
Oh, for sure. And you think about the characters actually in the show itself, what they had to go through as porters to go through to make it happen. It's like, it's unbelievable. I'm sorry. I'm just emotional.
No, well, no, feeling it. And, I just want to say, when you're saying, everything you did to lead up to this point, right? It's about this foundation, and it's about all those skills, but it's exciting to kind of see how this is bringing everything to a next level. And when you're surrounded with people who are there to make you look your best, make you work your best, magic happens, and we heard that from Arnold. We have a few questions in the feed here, but I just want to acknowledge that we're having some tech issues with Eugene. We're going to get him back up here, but there's another gentleman on the screen that I want to make sure that we say hello to. Can you hear me, John?
Yes.
JJ, how's it going? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. How does it feel to be part of the Porter?
It feels amazing. I've never been on a set like that. It brings me back to times like that, and I got to learn so many new things and meet so many new people.
Thank you. And did you have to wake up early? Was it tough work, or was it just exciting the whole time?
It was pretty much exciting the whole time. The only hard part was learning the piano. That was the hard part about it. But yeah.
The only hard part was learning the piano, but you did it.
Yeah.
Oh my good. Can we just, the rest of us, can we give him some love here? The only hard part was learning the piano. We're going to get back to you with a few more questions. So there's a question here maybe for Arnold. People are asking, how many episodes? Can you give us some more details? We just want to make sure we're setting our PVRs right.
Well, it's 8 episodes, obviously starting on February the 21st, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and then every Monday for the next 8 weeks. So please watch. Please watch.
Yeah, thank you. And they're each 60 minutes. So, you really delve into each episode. So that's fantastic. Yeah, it's coming. So we're still having just a few tech problems with Eugene. I know that we're going to get him back soon.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, here we go. You hear us now?
Right. Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Here we go.
Oh,
so
there we go.
We were hearing, Bubba's energy and excitement. Jerron talked about the hard part was learning the piano. What did it mean for you to be part of this project? And if you want to introduce a little bit more about your character as well, that would be great.
Yes, yeah. Thank you so much. And this has been such an incredible evening. I'm so excited for the Porter to drop. Even just watching the live stream here today was just such an incredible experience. Honestly, when I remember the first time I heard about the Porter, as myself, Eugene Baffo, I'm born and raised in Montreal. And being born and raised in Montreal, I've heard stories and kind of knickknacks here and there growing up about the Porter, but never knew as much as obviously I learned being a part of the project. So when I saw that little email saying, "Hey, the Porter's coming to town, there's auditioning," I said to my wife, I was like, I will do anything to be a part of this. Do these people need water? Do they need laces for their shoes? I will do anything to be anywhere remotely close to this set. And I got the opportunity to audition for a few characters, and we landed on Tuppy, and I cannot wait for y'all to meet this character, because again, this character is going through something that I think we can all relate to in many different parts of the community, and is going through a story that I think in the Black community specifically that we don't talk about as much as we should, and as the new Porter coming in, and again, I don't want to give too much away, also seeing how he navigates his role in the story, how he interacts with the Porters that are more established. It is just an absolutely unreal story. I think about it every day in regards to being on set, working with Marsha, working with Arnold, working with the entire cast. It's just been absolutely phenomenal. So, I went from, listen, do these people need water, to like, okay, I'm on set, I'm a character, and I'm just so incredibly grateful and honored to be a part of this experience. And I cannot wait for all y'all to see it.
Well, thank you so much for that, and we're going to get back to you with some more questions, but there's some coming in here in the chat. So this question's for Arnold from Richard. We've heard that there is a photo book of the production that may be in the works. Is this a rumor? And if not, when can we pick one up?
It's not a rumor. We're I don't know when it will make its way, but it's in the works. So I mean, look, you know what, I will tell you this cast and this crew worked their tail off, so they deserve anything that we can give them. for what they've created. So blessed to have an unbelievable team. Black, white, yellow, or blue. Everyone who worked on the show gave the role.
Thank you. Now, there's a few more questions in the chat here, and I think Marsha and Arnold touched on this a little bit, but Jeannie, now that you're back with us, I want to give you another chance. You talked about coming from Montreal and learning a little bit about this. You know, was there some research that as you were digging into the role surprised you about the time, the era, you know, the characters or the story?
Absolutely. You know, every day on set, prior, during, and after, we continue to learn about these incredible men on these trains. And, you know, one thing I'll always say, and I say to everybody right away, is when we first began going into, you know, researching our characters, first of all, the production team, Arlen Marshall, all that, we were actually sent documents and documentaries and books to read and so much information for us to kind of catch up and get up to speed on all the research they've done over the last, you know, decade, right? So it was really, really great to be sent that and to have, you know, days and days and weeks to prepare and really kind of go into that world and read about the history, you know. But on day one, a lot of us cast members came together, and Arnold put us through Porter Boot Camp, which I will never forget about. We met at the production office, and he just gave us the lowdown on how to behave through the trains, what, you know, what these men went through, how to move if another person comes towards you, how you position yourself in regards to coming across somebody who is obviously on the train to be served a certain way, right? So there was so much detail and heart put into everything that we do in this show, and every way that we move, the way that we speak, all of that, you know. So when you really watch the show, like every single minute you see on screen has been researched down to the very minute detail, you know what I'm saying? So it's really, really cool to be a part of a show that has put that much attention to detail. And as actors, that's great. We get to dive in, we get to go and play with so many options and so much meat to play with. And that was what I was really excited about as an actor and as a performer, is to have so much support, so much research, and so much history to create and carve these characters to the ones that you see on screen.
Yeah, and we heard the same kind of message from Bubba about that support and being surrounded, and I think that's really great. I want to throw a question back to Jaron, JJ. You know, do you have a story about a day on the set that you'd like to share, either a funny moment or one that was meaningful to you that you want to never forget?
I actually had two kind of favorite moments. My first favorite was the first day I got to meet everybody. I had a dance off with Amel. And also, what was my second favorite was doing the piano. It was hard, and it was so fun to do at the same time.
Yeah, well, that sounds amazing. And dance off, were there a lot of dance parties? I'm looking at Arnold and Marsha and Bubba. Like, was that a good stress relief? Keep the energy going?
Well, Amel is very, Amel would often come to set with a speaker playing music. So every day had the potential to turn into a dance party. But there were days, you know, he would come in and then it would be like the background performers. He would like walk by and then they'd start getting into it, or they were just going to be passengers on the train. We saved, for a production reason, we shot Stardust at the end of the shoot, but it was just the most amazing burst of energy that we needed at the end of this like very long summer to see the dancers and people, and some of the actors would come, whether they were in the scenes or not. They would just come on those days just to be a part of it. So definitely a lot of dance parties, and some instigated by Amel, or maybe most instigated by Amel.
There was this one time in the scene where you see the porters walking through Saint Antoine, and we were doing that a couple times, so we'd have to turn around, come back. And Eugene, I don't know if you remember this, man. We started playing our shoeboxes like bongo drums, and you know we'd sing like whatever, some old time, like dance hall song or whatever it may be. And then, as Marcia was saying, the background performers, it was really cool to see them looking at us at first, and then getting into it and starting singing and dancing with us as well. And it almost like gave them the freedom in that environment to be themselves. And I think we got to give props to like Amel for that, because I really think that he instilled that sort of like freedom to be organically who we are.
Thank you. Now the questions are coming in on the chat, so I want to make sure that I have a lot of questions I'd like to ask, but I want to give people who are dropping in the chat the chance to ask theirs too. So Arnold from Emmanuel, what do you miss most about Winnipeg?
Well, other than KNS food, I mean, I know I've said this before. I just miss the love, man. I just love sitting down, you know, with the background performers and them telling me stories, or someone saying they're related to this person who was a porter, and just people saying how thankful they were that we were there. It became really humbling for us. And you know, talking to Bubba, and you know what I also really loved? I loved having the opportunity to read with all of these actors in Winnipeg, and really trying to instill once again, I guess, something that, you know, I was talking about with Amel, making them feel safe, like a safe environment, in order for them to perform at their best. So I really love seeing the transformation for me that was going on in Winnipeg. Something to behold.
So 2 more questions for Marcia here, and Arnold. So maybe I'll throw this one to Marcia to start. What do we have to do to get more Black films made in Winnipeg?
That's an excellent question. I don't know if I have the answer of what you need to do. I would say that I think that the tide has turned in the last couple of years, in which people are much more interested in stories like this. I mean, we were incredibly fortunate to have CBC on board for many years, but like now, I mean, everybody is kind of catching up, and people are really seeking out stories. So if you have something like a story burning inside you, even if all you have is a pitch, now is the time to go out and pitch it to companies. You know, we obviously worked with Inferno in Winnipeg, but there are other companies that you can go to. And, you know, I think a thing that people are doing a lot now, which people are starting to understand, is like the no story about us without us. And so even if you don't necessarily have all the experience, you could get paired with somebody, or you can make a connection with somebody and come in together. I mean, I think if the Porters have taught us anything, it's about perseverance. You know, it's like it took them a long time to get where they wanted to be, and it took us as well. We stand on the shoulders of the people who came before us, and we hope that we've created some opportunities for the people who are coming up behind us. But just keep going. And I mean, I feel like when I think about Arnold, you know, however many 12 years ago, just being like, I want to tell this story, I want to do it, and I don't know what it's going to be, but just believing in it enough. Sometimes that passion is enough to get somebody else excited about it, and they'll help you along the way.
And, you know, we're seeing questions in the chat here, and we might have started something. Is the hope to stay in Winnipeg for future seasons, future series? Or would the goal be to spread this experience to other markets? You know, I don't know if we want to...
Marcia, I'll take this one.
Yeah, there you go, Arnold.
We're at this point right now, where we're at is we're just showcasing the show to Canada. And like any show, let's hope that I really pray that Canada loves the show and takes it onto their own and watches it. And the numbers are fantastic. And I guess once you get to that mindset, that's when the conversation about, you know, getting a second season, having it back in Winnipeg, those are the goals in which we all want to achieve. But right now, you know, Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, you know.
Yeah. Tune in, share, put it on your platforms, get the word out. Yeah, reminded 9 p.m. local here, Central Time. So we're starting to get to the end of our Q&A, but I asked our other Winnipegger, but Bubba, what do you want to share a quick set story, a moment that you want to leave with us here?
Listen, from the beginning to the end. It was grand opening, grand closing. What I just want to say, just before I leave, before we cut me off, because I know how y'all like to do, I just picked up this magazine right here. I saw it yesterday. It is a celebration of Black film, a century of Black excellence at the movies. And I look forward to this show, this production, The Porter, being included in the next or subsequent versions of this collector's edition magazine. You can pick it up at stores, wherever you get magazines. It's collector's edition. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, Harry Belafonte's in here looking cute. Boom, I open up. There's Harry Belafonte right there. See that? There he is, looking good, looking mean, looking sharp. Rest in peace to Sidney Poitier, who was the person who got me into this industry, who I was inspired by, who was the first actor to call out my name in public. And it was like, Bubba, they didn't dance hip hop in 1800s, right? Like, I remember that. That was amazing. And he's gone now. So he opened up the door, and we are standing on the shoulders of these giants. And like, we have the next generation, like Jerron right there. Like, I'm so excited. Like this, like, I wish I had these kind of opportunities when I was, his age, 8, 9, 10 years old. And that's what we need to do, is create more opportunities, more space for us to do this. Everything was great. Thank you so much, Arnold. Thank you so much, Marsha. And of course, Angela, of course, you're amazing. Thank you. And of course, my man, like, we all here. We all did it. And I have nothing else to say. I'm just blessed. Monday, 9 p.m., you know where I'm going to be at. And if you want to come and have a watch party with me, you know where I'm at. Holla, let's do it. I got a big screen TV. It's like 24 inches.
There you go. Big screen. Thank you for that energy. And I mean, I think, what we're hearing here is we need more of these stories. And we have the creators, we have the storytellers, we have the talent, and we have the audience. And I think that's part of these things, but it isn't without, those who came before us. And I think, to me, the theme of Black History Manitoba this year is Black History Matters. Look, listen, share, and act. And, what we have in all of you here are people who took the time to listen, to share, and to act, and look what we came out of it. These magical moments here, and this legacy for us and for future generations, which is, I think, also part of what's really exciting about this medium of storytelling. So we're coming to a close here. I think I could keep on talking all night, but they'll cut the live stream. So it's kind of like the new getting played out, right? The internet just goes. But I just want to thank you all for your time, for your generosity, and for the love that you've shown to Winnipeg. And I see someone's hand raised, but there's no raise hand function on this, Bubba.
I just want to say it's 9 p.m. on Monday, all time zones. So you don't have to worry about trying to calculate Mountain Standard Time versus Pacific Time. I'm in Alberta, blah, 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 blah. It's 9 p.m. At 9 p.m., just set your alarm, 9 p.m. PVR. Boom, Porter's on every Monday. Get it done. Yes. If you don't know, now you know.
There you go. Thank you. So with that, I mean, any one word. I'm going to just do a quick lightning round here. When you think the Porter series, just give me one word. I'm going to start with you, Jeannie.
Powerful.
Powerful. Jerron.
Amazing.
Amazing. Bubba.
Excellence.
Marsha.
Grateful.
And Arnold.
Respect.
Nice.
Yeah. So my word for all of you is gratitude. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you,
Bye.
everybody
Love
who's
you all.
watching.
Yes,
I know there's some people that we know.
I feel a standing ovation. Yeah, wave here. Wave.
Jay, you are the real star of this show, Jay. You are the real star, man.
Thank you.
I can't wait for you guys to see it. It's so good. I want you to see everything. I hope you're so proud. You are all amazing in it. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for having us then, for having us now.
Thank you, Winnipeg.
Thank you, Winnipeg.
Yes. Oh, and Jeannie, I don't know if we missed you, but you also have honorary citizenship.
I appreciate that. We here now, we ain't going nowhere.
Show up tomorrow with them shovels, all right? Show up tomorrow with them shovels. We got a blizzard on the way. We're going to need you.
Okay.
All hands on deck.
All hands on deck. So, this is such an incredible evening. I'd like to, continue this conversation. We are celebrating Black History Month, but let's talk about Black History 365. Let's continue to tell these stories. But I want to make sure that there are a lot of people that we need to thank. Thank our guests here on the screen, but there are a lot of people who are involved in making this evening possible. So I'd first like to acknowledge Black History Manitoba Celebration Committee and our fearless leader, Rhonda Thompson, and the entire committee. February is a busy month, and they work all year round to bring programming, to tell these stories. So I just want to acknowledge and thank all of them. And we're celebrating our 40th year. And to many, many more years to come, 41, 42, let's keep it going. Let's keep telling these stories, and let's keep coming together as a community. From CBC Manitoba, I'd like to thank Gabriella Climes, Justin Deely, Gemma Peralta, Donna Carrero, and Alexa Joy for all of their work. From CBC Marketing and Communications, Sharon Tidroya, Winston Ma, Shauna Wolpert, Liz Stewart, and Catherine Wolfgang. And we're going to say it one more time. The Porter airs at 9 p.m. on CBC TV and CBC Gem. We now know, let's not worry about the time zone, 9 p.m. beginning this Monday, February 21st. So you're going to tell your friends. You're going to tell your friends who aren't on social media. You're going to send an email. If you have a rotary dial phone, you're going to pick it up. You're going to call a few people. It might take a little bit longer. You can send a text. We're going to tell all the kids at school, those that are 15 and plus, and then those that are 15 and under, watch with their parents. And, keep this energy, keep this love going, and find new ways to tell these stories. So thank you for attending tonight. And there is a giveaway. It wasn't just the macaron at the beginning. And I'm going to break into this box really soon. But to thank all of you for attending tonight, we'd like to offer 3 complimentary months of CBC Gem Premium. That's just enough time to kind of probably watch the whole series, right? And this is on a first come and first serve offer. So get your fingers ready here. I'm going to give you some information here because the coupon codes are limited. So you ready? Yeah, that's not actually a phone, Bubba. You need it there, yeah. So to learn more and claim a coupon, email rsvp@cbc.ca. Gonna say it one more time, rsvp@cbc.ca, and it's even on the screen below me here. And so with that, from all of us, we hope you've enjoyed this special, special evening. Thanks for joining us. Be well, stay safe, and we're going to cue this out with one more clip. Thank you all. Have a great night.
Bye, Arno. Bye, Miss.
Be safe, everybody. Stay strong.
Bye, Bobby.
Boom, boom. Peace, peace, peace.
Junior. First thing, shoes in point, no scuffs, perfect polish. And when you walk, walk like a man with answers, because whether or not you have them, that's who you have to be.
Zeke, you make sure that my husband stays out of trouble tonight.
Don't I always?
Do you know who I am?
I know you're in charge.
Of every unholy thing that sets foot in this city.
Queenie, the woman they call the Southside Butcher.
When I hear somebody trying to sell me on a better life, I gotta ask myself, what is so bad about the life they got?
If I wanted to get the Porters into a union, what's the first thing I should do?
Always go for the head.
That's where the vision is.
You think I need a partner?
I think you need a man that knows every vein in them trains.
I know y'all might be scared of what might happen if we do this, but maybe it's time we start thinking about what happens if we don't.
What I offer these boys is not one day, maybe. It is in their hands right now. But it's union shit you talking? Now that's danger. Sure you don't want to work with me?
Sure you don't want to join a movie?
I'm good. I gotta spend the rest of my life bowing and smiling. People rather spit in my face than killing me would be a kindness.
Knowing when to be a bull-headed Negro motherfucker and when not to be.
I'm a poet Pepsi, the most invisible man on the earth.